I can't talk right now. I'm doing real hot girl shit. Where's my anxiety medicine? Hey guys, it's Gracekharmon here and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is a brand new thing for me and I'm excited. I hope y'all are too. So let's just get right into the video. So today we are going to be making my chocolate chip cookies. Now, I know what you're thinking, those are basic, why make those? You are correct, but I do a little secret stuff to them because here's the thing. It's not about how they look, it's about what's on the inside. No, but these chocolate chip cookies just have a little hint of something different to them, and I'm hoping y'all will learn something, but also learn stuff about me because I'm going to be answering some questions that y'all gave me on my Instagram. So let's go ahead and get started. So before I start getting everything out, I'm going to answer my very first question, and that is, so what all do you plan to cover, like, in my YouTube channel? So I'm really excited to answer this question because this is kind of the whole reason why I started it, is because me personally, I'm a huge advocate for like talking about mental health because it's a really hard thing to talk about, and you know, it's not always the funnest thing to even go through. So I want to talk about it more and also just spread positivity and talk about how I deal with things, because I know everybody deals with them differently, and I've learned from other people how to deal with things, and I've taken that and put that in my little mental health toolbox, and then I take like tips that other people like do with their coping mechanisms and stuff, and I put it in my toolbox, and it just like makes everything better because like you just learn from other people and how they deal with things, and it's like, oh, that makes sense, let me try that out. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but I'm hoping I can share that knowledge with y'all. Also, just I want to spread positivity because I feel like we all need some. I need some, and this is also just a great way to keep my mental health in check and also just check in with y'all. Whether you watch one video or all of them, I'm just happy that y'all are here. So yeah, my main like goal with this is just really talk about mental health, keep it positive, have just a lot of fun with, I'm excited to show you some of my baking recipes because that will be fun. But other than that, it's just kind of like see where things go, and whatever makes me happy, I'm gonna film it. And whatever makes y'all happy, let me know down in the comments below because we're gonna film it and have fun. So what you will need for this recipe is white sugar. You will be needing brown sugar. You'll be needing a stick of butter, an egg, vanilla extract, cinnamon, baking soda, flour, salt if necessary, and chocolate chips. So we're ready to get started baking, but just because it's 2021 doesn't mean COVID is over. So that means we need to wash our hands. So let's go ahead and wash our hands. Slash, you should just wash your hands like anytime you do anything because like don't be nasty. What is that from Nickelodeon? No, it's from That's a Raven. You nasty. Hi guys, this is the part of the video that I would like to call mental health check-in. So I'm going to ask you 3 simple questions and feel free to put your answers in the comments below or just answer them to yourselves. So question number 1, how are you doing? Like actually. 2, what's something that made you happy today? And 3, name one thing you're grateful for. All right, now back to the video. I got my bowl. Knots, am I right? What's that from? Is that from Wicked? I don't remember. Okay, vocals. Oh, God. Plug that in over here. Okay, we got the bowl and we got the mixer. Usually I have my like big like standard KitchenAid mixer, but I'm not in my usual apartment, so this is what we got today. So first things first, we're just gonna grab our stick of butter and put it in the bowl. And you know how like every recipe like says like, oh, soften your butter? Who literally has time for that? Because when I make cookies, like I make them right away. I don't think about it. Like I don't spend hours being like, oh, I'm gonna make cookies later, like gotta soften the butter now. No. So if that's you, and you're like me, congratulations. Welcome to the club of just, I don't know, we can name the club later. No, but if you have time to soften your butter, do it. If you don't, there's so many tips and tricks like out there, but also I just stick it in the microwave with like a microwave safe bowl. As long as it's not like melted, you're good. Other than that, sometimes I literally just like take it right out of the fridge and put it in the bowl. So first things first, we are going to soften that butter. All right, the butter is nice and softened and whipped. I don't know if y'all can see that, but it's basically not a stick anymore. It is mutilated. That's great. All right, now it's time to measure out the sugar and put it in the butter. So we're gonna start with the brown sugar and grab half a cup of packed brown sugar. And while I'm doing this, I'm answering another question. So if you do know me already, you know that I have been involved in musical theater / community theater, creative arts in general for the past like, oh gosh, like at least 10 years of my life. And I love it. And that's what I plan to do with my life, but we'll talk about that at a later date. But I got a lot of questions about my theater career and stuff like that. So one question that I'm going to answer right now about that is what originally got me into theater. And that's actually a very good question because it's the most randomest thing that happened. So back in 4th grade, my school, which I went to a very small private school, my school was doing like a high school production of a show, and you know, elementary kids don't do them. So they needed like 3 elementary kids to play the younger siblings of the main character, and the show was Annie, Get Your Gun. And at that point, like I was going through a lot in my life, you know, as a 4th grader, because like a lot's going on. But I had my 4th grade teacher come up to me and be like, "Hey Grace, you should really audition for this. Like you'd be great at it." And in my mind, I'm like, me? Like me being in a show? That's ridiculous. So I took her up on her offer and I did it. But the thing is, the day I auditioned, and granted I'm in 4th grade, never auditioned before. It's a small private school, it's not like a serious audition. I'm there, I have strep, or at least I'm like getting better from strep, I'll say that. And so my voice was gone and I had to sing for the very first time in my life. I've never sang before. And I had to act, never did that before. And for some reason, God bless Mrs. Code, wherever she is, she gave me that role of the younger sibling. And that was like, the rest is history essentially. So that's what got me into it. And then I did that, and then my mom was like, "Okay, maybe she's good. Like, let's find another place that she can do this." And this community theater that is now like my home we literally found it through the newspaper. Like my mom was, I mean, this was back in what, like 2010, so newspapers were like still in. She was going through the newspaper and just found a little like ad for this community theater, and it was like, "Oh, join us for our summer camps." And mom was like, "You should do this." I was like, "I don't know, that seems like scary." But she's like, "No, Grace, do it." And I did it, and it was the best decision I ever made. So like those 2 instances were the reasons why I've gotten into theater. And theater to me is just like such a home, like in general, because it makes you feel things and be someone that you get to just imagine and create in your head. Anyway, all right, back to baking. So we got the white sugar and the brown sugar and the butter in here. We're gonna cream that all together. Now, once that looks like sand, we are going to now add in our egg. Opa! And now we're going to combine our egg with our sugar and butter mixture. All right, once that is nice and creamy, we're going to add in our vanilla. And the next question I have is, you know, I've been in theater for 10 years, so a lot of people ask me what is my favorite show that I've been in. And that's such a tough question, like sincerely tough question. The one that always comes to mind first was probably The Cowardly Lion and Wizard of Oz, because that was my first major role, and it was just the first time I actually felt like good at something essentially, and it just meant a lot to me. But there's been so many others that I have loved and adored. Like there was a time where I literally played a cow. I had no lines except for like moo. That was one of the funnest roles I've ever done because I got to just act like a cow on stage, and it was great. If you know, you know. But honestly, really tough question. I feel like my answer changes literally all the time. So, yeah, I don't know. Besides Cowardly Lion, I gotta say Ursula. I played Ursula. Like, I will have to show y'all. Sometime I have to go through my theater history and show y'all some photos because iconic. Ursula was honestly awesome because she's not only my favorite like Disney villain, she's just a queen, and she never stopped being queen throughout the whole show. So Cowardly Lion, Ursula. There were probably more others, but those are the 2 that come into mind. Anyway, now time to combine the vanilla in the mixture. Okay, pause. This is where things get a little wild. I like to add cinnamon in my chocolate chip cookies. I know it's not for everybody, and you feel free to subtract it from the recipe, but I'm telling you, it makes them so good. Like, I just add a little bit. I personally don't love measuring when it comes to baking, especially chocolate chip cookies, because I've made them so many times that I can just do it literally blindfolded. But I have the recipe down below in case y'all want the exact measurements. Feel free to look down there. But we're going to add our cinnamon. And mix that together. Alrighty, now here's the other weird part. We're going to take our baking soda and dissolve it in some hot water. I know, crazy, right? But it adds the best texture to your chocolate chip cookies. It creates that like crunchy outside with the gooey middle. It's the best. I'm telling you, if you've never done this trick before, you need to try it the next time you have chocolate chip cookies. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now that we've got our hot water, we're going to dissolve our baking soda in there. It makes like a fuzzy noise. And it should like fizz, and that's totally normal. And then we're just going to take that water and baking soda mixture and pour it right in. I know it's weird, but trust me on this one. Does anybody else forget to preheat the oven before they start a recipe? Because I literally do all the time. So go ahead and preheat the oven to 350. All right, now we're going to go ahead and add in our flour. And now while I'm doing this, I'm going to answer one more question about theater. So I got the question, what is your dream role / dream show to direct? Which is, again, always a tough question. I would say from a young age, my dream role has always been Tracy Turnblad from Hairspray, because like, it's literally the most iconic thick girl role ever, and of course I would love to be that. Also, who hasn't like had a fantasy about falling in love with Zac Efron? Just me? No, I know there's more of you out there. But I would say that was probably the first one that comes to mind. Oh, I would love to be the witch in Into the Woods. Ooh, iconic. But dream show to direct in, okay. Probably for nostalgia reasons is Seussical the Musical, because I've been in that show, or I've been a part of that show about 3 different times, and I would love to direct it, because I just think I have like this vision, and just, again, nostalgia, I just think it'd be amazing. Plus, it's a great show. That's probably my best answer for that one. Also, tip with this, I always have a plastic knife in my flour jar because it makes everything easier. You just kind of do this chopping motion and then go whoosh. My grandma taught me that one. Love you, Nana. All right. Now, once that is well combined, you're going to add in your chocolate chips. People say fold them in so you don't break them apart, but either way, I think it's totally fine. So I would say add about a half a bag of chocolate chips. You can do whatever chocolate chips you want, dark chocolate, milk chocolate, semi-sweet. I always go with semi-sweet because it's the very, middle of the road option, and always just balances out the flavor the best. Alrighty, now combine your chocolate chips. Alrighty, you should have your finished dough. It's beautiful. Feel free to eat some because, I won't tell anyone if you won't. But you can go ahead and stick this in the fridge to let it chill. Sometimes what I like to do is actually roll them into balls and then put them in a little plastic container, stick it in the freezer. And then just whenever I'm feeling like, oh, I just need one cookie, I'll pop one in on a pan and then put it in the oven. And then that way you're not tempted to eat a lot. But then who says tuna cookies can hurt you? Well, maybe. It's fine. So we're gonna go ahead and prep our baking sheet. All right, so I have my cookie sheet, which is Cake Boss. I don't know if anybody else grew up watching Cake Boss religiously, but I did. So this is very nostalgic for me. Nostalgic. And then we're gonna grab our parchment paper. All right, so now once you have your parchment paper on your hand, you wanna start filling up those cookies. All right, so another question I got as I'm scooping these on the tray is, what is your happy place? Which I always find a very interesting question because, I don't know, it's a very broad and personal question, but I feel like I have a few different answers. I feel like one of my answers would be Target because, retail therapy at its finest. Also, I would say probably my real happy place is always, I think my true happy place is a very basic answer, but it's surrounded by the people I love. And that could be family, that could be friends, but that moment where you're just sitting there and you just look at the people around you and it's all good. Everything's good, you're smiling, you're happy. It's like that moment. Whether it lasts a few minutes or a few hours or a few days, whatever it is. It's that moment. That's my happy place. To think about all the people I love just surrounding me and just looking at them, and I don't know. That's what makes me happy. Alright, so another question is, what is my favorite thing about myself? Which is always a difficult question to ask sometimes because it's you don't want to be seen as narcissistic, and you don't want to be seen as fake humble or whatever, but honestly, everybody should answer this question because it's a very good question to ask about yourself. So, favorite thing about myself. I would say my answer is probably my ability to talk to people. Because literally, I mean, people who know me, I love to talk, but I could literally talk to like a dry wall. But I love just talking to like strangers, which is like stranger danger. Don't talk to people that you don't know necessarily. I don't know, take that up with your parents. Anyway, so I just love like saying like, hey, like I have a job where I work with people, like I'm a cashier at a bakery, and I literally just get to talk to people and like complimenting people just on like random little things, whether it's their earrings or their hair or their makeup or their shoes, like, and seeing how they like react to it is always like my favorite thing, because then you can like spark up this conversation of like where they got it or why they're wearing it today or if they have a special event or whatever it is. And it's literally like my favorite thing ever, because it's like, I don't know if I'll ever see you again, but I hope it made your day by just pointing out that one thing. Like, who knows, they maybe spent like 20 minutes picking out the perfect earrings to go with their outfit, and then, you know, no one noticed, but like I did, and that's really cool. Like, I would love that if that were me, you know? Anyway, probably my favorite thing about myself is just like my ability to talk to people. So I actually am making really big cookies, so we only have 6 on this pan, even though it can technically fit 12. We're going to go ahead and stick these in the oven and bake them for about 10 to 15 minutes depending on your oven. You saw nothing. Okay, so while the cookies are baking, I'm going to answer some more questions. So, a little bit about me. I am a sophomore in college at Texas A&M, Gig'em, but I did go to a previous college the first year because of the certain program I was underneath. So, I went to Tarleton St. So one of my questions is from one of my favorite people that I met there, and it is, what is your favorite memory slash like thing about Tarleton? And that is actually a really good question. I would say my favorite memory is probably meeting all the people that I met. Like, I love my roommate that I got. She is the sweetest. Probably my favorite memory was honestly the first day that I actually got there, which was duck camp. We love it! And I met my very best friend and also the editor of this video. Say hi, Trey.
Is this thing on? Anyways. Hi guys!
Trey was actually my very first friend that I made at Tarleton. We actually met over making comments about YouTubers. We both looked at each other and we said, fun. And then we clicked that we both watched Ricky Dillon, and just instant best friends right there. And so that's probably one of my favorite memories, was probably duck camp and meeting my best friend. Love you, Trey. And another question I got was, where do you see yourself / where do you hope to be in 5 years from now? And that's always a very difficult question to ask, because it's like, you know, you always have this ideal and dream of where you want your life to be, but you also have this idea of like the reality of it all. I would say I have no clue. I hope to be working in some form of theater education, you know, just sharing the arts with the kids. I hope to possibly just be surrounded by the people who love me and I love. A relationship would be great, but that's fine. Honestly, 5 years from now, I just hope that I'm happy where I am, because that's all you can ask for, and I hope that I'm just living my best life. So typically this recipe makes about 12 to 24 cookies depending how big you make them. Mine cooked for about 12 minutes. And it really just depends on your oven and how big you make them and such, to how long you keep them in the oven for. Either way, they're cookies. There's not much that can go wrong. Although this is really cute, I think we should have a better display. So we're gonna do some little YouTube magic and have a really cute cookie plate. Ready? And alrighty guys, so the cookies are done. I hope y'all get a chance to try out the recipe with me. If not, I hope y'all enjoyed the video in general. I'm so excited to start this journey with y'all. Everything you need to know is down in the description. Feel free to check it out. I have my information down there. I am very excited to eat these cookies, / mainly my family will eat them, and they will probably be gone in less than 24 hours because that's the way things go. So there's a saying I'm going to say before I end every video, and it is, remember, you are learning and you are growing. And why I say this is because when you learn, you have to have mistakes to learn from. And when you're growing, there are things called growing pains. So every day is not going to be easy, but every day you are learning and you are growing. If you guys have any other questions about me, leave them down in the comments below. And on my Instagram, every day that I upload, there will be a poll that you can participate in. So feel free to go check that out on my Insta, Gracekharmon. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button down below. And I hope you have a wonderful, great rest of your day. And remember, you are learning and you are growing. Peace out.